August 6, 1945, 8:15 a.m. Tsutomu Yamaguchi was walking to work in Hiroshima, Japan, just 3 kilometers from what would become Ground Zero. He saw a blinding flash of light, brighter than 1,000 suns, felt a heat wave that melted his skin, was thrown 10 meters through the air. When he woke up, everything was gone: buildings, trees, people, just smoke, fire, and silence. He thought he was the only survivor. 3 days later, he boarded a train back to his hometown, Nagasaki. On August 9th at 11:02 a.m., he heard the air raid siren, saw the B-29 bomber overhead, and watched as the second atomic bomb of human history exploded, just 3 kilometers from where he stood. Tsutomu Yamaguchi survived both atomic bombs, but his story doesn't end there. Decades later, in 1986, he would witness another nuclear catastrophe. Not as a victim, but as a witness to history repeating itself. This is the true story of the unluckiest lucky man alive, the man who lived through not 1, not 2, but 3 nuclear disasters, and lived to tell the world, never again. Tsutomu Yamaguchi wasn't a soldier. He was a 29-year-old ship designer for Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. On August 6th, he was in Hiroshima on a business trip, finalizing designs for a new ship. That morning, as he walked to the train station with 2 colleagues, he saw the Enola Gay high above, heard the distant drone of its engines, then light. Not just bright light, a light that burned through his skin, a heat so intense it vaporized people instantly. Yamaguchi was thrown through the air like a rag doll, landed in a field, bleeding, burned, his eardrums ruptured. When he regained consciousness, the city was gone. Where skyscrapers once stood, only shadows on concrete. Where people walked, only ash outlines on the pavement. His left arm was burned black. His face was blistered. He couldn't see properly. Somehow he found his colleagues, both severely injured. Together they made their way to a makeshift hospital. Doctors told him he wouldn't survive the night, but Yamaguchi had a wife and child waiting for him in Nagasaki. He had to get home, so 3 days later, with bandaged burns, blurred vision, and a body barely holding together, he boarded a train back to Nagasaki. On August 9th, he was telling his boss about the Hiroshima bombing when the second atomic bomb exploded overhead. Yes, the same man, 2 atomic bombs, John 3 kilometers from Ground Zero, both times. How is that even possible? Simple answer, luck. But the real answer is far more complicated. Yamaguchi survived Nagasaki because he was in a reinforced concrete building, and because the bomb detonated farther from him than the first one. But surviving was just the beginning. In the weeks that followed, he suffered what doctors called atomic bomb disease: vomiting, hair loss, bleeding gums. His white blood cell count dropped to dangerous levels. His wife, Hisako, who was pregnant with their second child, also developed symptoms after he returned home, exposed to the radiation still on his clothes and skin. Their baby girl, Naoko, was born with serious health problems and died at age 9 from kidney failure linked to radiation exposure. For decades, Yamaguchi kept quiet. In Japan, atomic bomb survivors hibakusha were discriminated against, seen as cursed, unmarriageable, unemployable. Many hid their survivor status to protect their children. But Yamaguchi couldn't hide his burns. The left side of his body remained permanently discolored. It wasn't until 2006, 61 years after the bombings, that Japan officially recognized him as a double hibakusha, the only person to survive both atomic attacks. By then, he was 93 years old, and he decided to speak out. In 2006, Yamaguchi traveled to New York City, not as a victim, but as a messenger. He stood before the United Nations General Assembly and told world leaders, "I was a fearful messiah bearing a message of the end of the world. I lived in a world of grey ashes, with the spirits of the dead. I want to live my remaining days in a world without nuclear weapons." His words weren't angry. They were urgent. "I don't want my grandchildren to live in fear," he said. But history wasn't done with Yamaguchi. In 1986, decades before his UN speech, he had witnessed another nuclear catastrophe, the Chernobyl disaster. Not as a victim this time, but as a concerned citizen watching the news. When reactor number 4 exploded in Ukraine, Yamaguchi felt a chill he hadn't felt since 1945. It was like watching my own experience happen all over again, he later said. He saw the denial, the cover-up, the suffering of ordinary people. And he knew, nuclear disasters don't care about borders, politics, or time. They only care about destruction. What's truly remarkable about Yamaguchi isn't just that he survived. It's what he chose to do with his survival. While many would have been consumed by bitterness, he chose peace. While many would have hidden in shame, he chose to speak. While many would have given up hope, he became one of Japan's most vocal anti-nuclear activists, even founding a group called No More Hiroshimas, No More Nagasakis. In his final years, he made a simple request: tell my story, so this never happens again. He died on January 4, 2010, just 3 months before his 94th birthday, the last official double atomic bomb survivor, but not the last victim of nuclear weapons. Today, there are still over 13,000 nuclear weapons in the world, enough to destroy civilization many times over, and every time one is tested, built, or threatened, Yamaguchi's message echoes: the human race must choose between suicide and survival. We remember wars, we remember battles, we remember the leaders who dropped bombs, but we forget the civilians who lived through them, the ones who carry the burns, both visible and invisible. Tsutomu Yamaguchi wasn't a hero because he survived. He was a hero because he chose to speak after surviving. In a world that prefers to forget its darkest moments, he insisted we remember. And in doing so, he gave us a warning and a hope. A warning: nuclear weapons don't discriminate. They don't care if you're Japanese, Ukrainian, American, or Russian. And a hope: one voice, speaking truth from experience, can echo across the world. Yamaguchi's story isn't just about surviving 2 atomic bombs. It's about what we do with our survival. Will we repeat history, or will we learn from it? The choice is ours. As Yamaguchi said in his final interview, "I pray that my story reaches the ears of as many people as possible, so that my experience can help prevent such a tragedy from happening again." If this story moved you, hit like, so YouTube shows it to others who need to hear it. Subscribe for more forgotten stories that shape our world. And share out this video, because some truths shouldn't be buried. Next week, the Japanese village that disappeared overnight, not from war, but from the earth itself. Stay curious. The world forgets too easily. We remember